Hello YouTube world, Pretend Farmer here. I need to clean out my toolbox on my farm truck, and I thought it would be neat to make a video on why you need a toolbox, and I wanted to review what all I keep in my toolbox for those of you that are like, I don't know if I need a toolbox or not. What do I even put in there? I'm going to show you how to fill it up with items that you'll need at some point or another, and you'll be really glad you have them. They do make really expensive toolboxes that actually you would have to work hard to get into. This is not one of them. It's a Cobalt. I bought it at Lowe's. It's probably about the cheapest toolbox you can buy. I think this was around $100 several years ago when I got it. I don't put anything in here that I couldn't replace or stuff that I would cry about if it came up missing. Item number one you need in your toolbox: a good spotlight. But let's just say you're in a dark place and you get a flat tire at night. This thing, you can sit down behind you and it lights it up like daytime. You're not trying to hold a flashlight in your mouth. Having a light is a must. Next up is the muck boots. A good pair of muck boots that are waterproof that you can use to stomp around in really muddy or wet conditions is absolutely essential, because Pretend Farmer wears really nice tennis shoes, and not everywhere I go do I want to wear those really nice tennis shoes and ruin them. So rather than ruin them, you can slip them off and exchange them for these. Rope. You never know when you're going to need to tie something up or tie somebody up. Just kidding. These zip ties would probably work better if you were going to do that. Leather gloves. These are really cheap leather gloves. I bought them from Harbor Freight, and you can tell they're pretty dirty because I've used them for some dirty things, but it has saved my hands from getting dirty. Logging chain. It's got these hooks on the end of it, and this chain, maybe you come across a tree that's down across the road or something and you don't have a saw with you, there's nobody around, you might be able to hook that chain, wrap it around the tree, hook it to your bumper and drag that tree out of the road so you can keep on driving. There's just a lot of stuff that it's good to have a chain. Maybe if somebody's stuck and you need to pull them out of a mud pit, or you know, it's snow on the ground and somebody drifted off the road a little bit, you need to help jerk them back onto the road. Having that chain could really prove beneficial to hook to the bumper and get a vehicle unstuck. Here's something that I really can't overstress the importance of. This is a breaker bar. It's a very long bar, and I put the socket on it that fits the lug nuts for my wheels. Now you say, Pretend Farmer, all vehicles come with a lug wrench. Why would you want to have something like that on hand? Well, because a lot of times your modern day tire shops use air guns, air ratchets to put those lug nuts on, because we live in a sue happy world and people will absolutely sue them if their tires come off. They run the regulators way up on those and really pound those lug nuts on so tight to the point where you can barely get them off with the factory lug wrench. In fact, I've broke my lug wrench on this truck trying to remove seized lug nuts. Good thing to have. What's cool about a hatchet like this is it can double as a hammer if it's an emergency, but you can also chop and cut things with it. If nothing else, you might be on a camp trip somewhere and you need this to split some firewood. Extension cord. You need to have a drill or something that you got to plug in, and oh crap, it won't reach what I need it to. Well, if you've got an extension cord with you at all times, then you're not in that much of a bind. What's really cool is you can keep it rolled up neatly with these little cord things. They look like licorice, but you wrap them around your cord after you've rolled it and it keeps it together. I bought those at Harbor Freight for a couple bucks and I thought it was neat. I carry rags. I carry a 5-foot by 7-foot, just a small tarp, and this is still new in the package. I haven't even used it, but it came from Harbor Freight. So just a couple dollars I paid for this tarp. And you know, if you need to get underneath your vehicle and work on something, or you need to cover something that you're trying to haul and a rainstorm pops up, having a tarp is just never a bad thing. Maybe you need to thaw something out. Maybe you just need to start a fire. Having a torch is never a bad thing in those situations. And then the final and last thing that I keep in my truck toolbox is a toolbox in my toolbox. Nothing crazy in there, just hand tools that you might need whenever you got to work on something somewhere. If you have a truck and you don't have a toolbox, you need to get one, and I hope that I've shown you some cool ideas of things you can put in it to help you be a little bit more prepared to handle what life throws your way. If you've got a toolbox on your truck, or you can think of anything that I forgot to mention that would be handy to put in here, please drop a comment down below. Let us know what we're missing. I think some road flares would probably be handy to have in here, but if I remember correctly, they're under the back seat. Anything at all you think of that I forgot or would be handy to add to a truck toolbox, feel free to add to the discussion. Till next time, this is the Pretend Farmer, signing out.